rabbis of yester, year 25th of Sivan, marks the Hilula of Arab Rafael Meir Hassan, Zechet Tzadik Livracha. He passed away close to about 180 years ago. Here, from the time of recording, he was great Darshan in Izmir, one of the great rabbis of his time, and much can be said within regards to Chacham. The 25th of Sivan this week happens to be his Hilula of the great rabbi. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous rabbi's life. Now, he was born, I believe, interesting enough, to, I think, Rusha Rivka and Rab Chaim Moshe. I think his father happened to be a prominent rabbi. He himself, I think, passed away in the year Heitav Kuf Pei Aleph, respectively, I think around the year 1821 or something. He would learn under the auspices of a famous Rabbi Yosef Liji, who happened to be a great rabbi and an educator in Kushta and also in Izmir, in Istanbul and in Izmir, respectively, in Turkey. And these were very much great places. Now, he would get married to Rivka. I believe she was a daughter of another prominent rabbi we've mentioned about on various occasions before. Rosha is Moza, I happen to be, I believe, interesting enough. So that's interesting. Okay, so he would study, and both inside the home community with another famous rabbi, his chavruta happens to be a rabbi we spoke about before, Harab Bacho Yaakov Yavetz, who happens to also be a darshan, an educator in Izmir. Also, he would be in Jerusalem teaching. He was the author of the Torah book called the Sefer Tzur Yaakov, a book we've spoken about, I believe, on various occasions before. Several times during the week, especially in night time, he would learn very much at a high level, let's just say. And he sometimes included his son, Moshe, to study with him. And various other testimonies could be regarded about how Rabbi Yavetz spoke about the greatness and the wisdom within regards to the Chacham, respectively. Now, I think it was a year Heitaf Reish Lamed Bet. We're talking about approximately 1871 or something around that specific vicinity. It's actually interesting. There was at that stage in the Beit Abraham there was a famous let's just say sermon hesped that was with regards to a passing of a Gvir inside that city, where he would give, I think, a grandiose drasha, if I'm not mistaken, which is chronicled over. He would actually say. Now, I think come with the 1844, he would actually, I think it happened to be on the 18th of Sivan, Tafresh Daled. He passed away, I believe, in the 25th of Sivan of that year. His book was completed on that year, on the 18th of Sivan. I think that there was a week in between from the time period of the passing away and the book being published. Now, it's actually interesting. We could say more within regards to that. I think his son, Rav Moshe, was very, very close to him, and he very much had a strong connection. We said that he was speaking a connection with Rav Yavetz, and had what's called very much within regards, just from a learning perspective, there was a closeness with regards to educating and printing and perpetuating Torah among the throngs of the publics. Now, it's reported over he had 2 sons and a daughter, and I think Rab David Mordechai, one of them, I think he sadly passed away from the cholera plague epidemic at one point in time. And Rabbi Chaim Moshe Hassan, who actually is the author of various other Torah colossal work, I think, of his time. He would actually receive huge amount of Torah, and was very much the author of the book Tov Moshe, which was printed in Izmir, in Turkey, in the Taf Reish Nun Vav, if I'm not mistaken. It was a Perush expoundation on the book of Psalms, the book of Tehillim, respectively, and on various different subjects. I think a cousin, Rabbi Yitzchak Dayash, of Meir Kada, or a rabbi we spoke about, I think just recently, actually, inside this series, if I'm not mistaken. Now, his book, let's explore a bit within regards to his Torah colossal work. The book was called the Manat Chalki. What was that, friends? It was short sermons, let's just say, on the order of the Torah, on Bereshit and Shemot, sermons to do with marriage, sermons within regards to Brit Milah, circumcision, was very much featured on there. And there was more teachings, collections of different scribes, articles on various different teachings in regards to Brit Milah, eulogies. There was a sermon, a grand jury sermon for the festival of Purim. I think there was various other collections that was printed at the end of the book within regards to Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim teachings. on the Tanakh, respectively. And the name of this authorship was from the Rashi Tevot of the name of the author, respectively. And that's something that we should have in mind. V'chen b'gematria ani Rafael Meir Hashem. Yeah, very interesting enough. And many of it was printed and was connection with regards to the great Rabbi Chaim Yosef Liji. We have to point out also, I think many of his teachings was printed after that. It's reported after he wrote his book, a fire occurred in Izmir. There was various fires, I think, and many of his writings would actually take out everything. So much of it was because of this fire. Much of the work got destroyed. Actually quoted in the Menat Chalki, will actually quote this statement inside the book. ונשרף הכל ביצאנו בידיים ריקניות ונתקיים במקרא שכתוב באיוב. ארום יצאתי מבטן עמי. ולא נשאר לי מאומה וקיבלתי הכל בשמחה שכך גזירה חוכמתו יתברך. This actually featured, I think, inside the book itself. Let's explore a few more interesting things with regards to the book. We see that I think, if I'm not mistaken, the burning of actually occurred in 1841. This big fire. This was about 3 years before he passed away. So much of it had been destroyed. I believe it's actually interesting. This book, the Manat Halki, was stopped after 44 pages of the book. It had been printed. Obviously, it was printed afterwards, if I'm not mistaken, after his lifetime. I think it will be published after his death, the Manat Halki. His son, then Rabbi Moshe Hassan, I think as far as 1889, this was way after, in the city of Izmir, which will also feature, as we stated before, some various different sermons from Rabbi Chaim Yosef Liji, various different collections, hymns, prayers for the sick, also women that are in labor, pregnant women, obituary also for Rabbi Rafael, Meir Hassan, which was actually written, I think. Let's explore a few of the teachings inside this book from the Hayomi website. Melamed Lashon Raka hu yisod gadol lekabel malachat hakodesh. This is something that's featured, I think, nice bit of wisdom on page number 77. Another teaching, Melamed lekayem b'Shabbat shalosh machalot ramot ba'avur neshama yitera. Another nice teaching in page number 38. מלמד שלא תקע את בנה הגדול, שלא תיתן מכשול בפניו. This is another interesting thing. I think it's very much featured on page number 8 inside the book. I think it was actually printed through Rabbi Avram Pontrimoli. Now, the great rabbi was spoken about in Izmir. This is in the 1889. So he passed away in 1844. Much of the book did not get printed at that point in time, a week, I think, before his passing. Eventually, a grandiose book will be printed significantly after he passed away in the year 1889, from the sounds of it. So he was a great rabbi of his time. We spoke about, I think we've mentioned on various occasions about his Rabbi Yosef Liji, who was a great rabbi of his time, which I recommend everyone to look more about. He himself happened to be a great rabbi in Kushta, and he was the author of the Oseh Hayil, a great book, which I think had connection with the book, the Manat Chalki of Izmir, of Rabbi Rafael Meir Hassan. So this Oseh Hayil book, I recommend everyone to actually look into it. It's actually featured on the HebrewBooks.org website, the Torah colossal work of his, which I think is very, very important source of Torah reading, and obviously to learn more about him, because Rabbi Rafael Liji was a very great rabbi of his time. Rabbi was spoken about on various occasions before. And remember, inside this series where we've related over about 120 rabbis, respectively, from Turkey, at least. Let's say during the 1700s, it was a bastion of Torah learning that took place inside the country of Turkey. It was probably the center in the entire world at that point in time, within regards to Torah scholarship, yeshivot, and much, much more. So hopefully we'll be able to touch more upon this. Now, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about the great Oriental rabbis. Yes, sir, yeah. Now, if you descend from any of the great Chachamim we are speaking about, please let me know. I would love to hear more about the great rabbis. If you feel anyone's interested in watching any of these videos, share these videos to other people. Now, friends, we're nearing 7,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. Please subscribe to the channel. It's only one of the only places you'll see in English encyclopedic learning within regards to the great rabbis of yesteryear. If you feel I missed anything out or made a mistake in any of these videos, please be sure to reach me out. I would love to hear more. So wishing you all a good day here from the city of Bet Shemesh in Israel. Thank you.